Hello, very good morning. Welcome to JS Testing Academy. Welcome to the next part of video in the APM series. Okay, hope you all saw the last video, the gestures which we put in last video. In this video, we are going to put again some gestures, like for example, drag and drop. Okay, so gestures are some operations which you do in the APM. Okay, like for example, as we saw, a type, swap, right, swipe, right, then scroll down, like that we saw there are these are called as gestures. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to the same API demo app. Then I'm going to click views. In that there is one functionality called as drag and drop. I'm going to click it. Then I'm going to drag from a source to a target. So this is the functionality which you are going to write automate now. Okay, I'm going to drag a circle and put in another circle. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. For that, first, as we saw in the previous video, Appium server should be started. That's the very first point. And next one is you should go to Android Studio and you should start the virtual device which you already created. Okay, then the emulator should be open, and then you should open the Appium inspector and keep it. All these three things are the basics. Then you should go to the Eclipse. Okay, you should go to the Eclipse. Okay, as I did in the previous video, I already have this basic class with me. Okay, as we saw in the previous video, I'm just already have a launcher emulator method where I have this basic code. For example, setting up the desired capabilities. For example, what platform name, what device name, what emulator ID and platform version, and what app I'm going to automate, and the URL of the Appium server with the port number. Okay, so all these things I wrote a code and kept in a method. This I'm going to call in my test case. Okay, so that is what we are going to. Now I'm going to Eclipse and going to my package and create one class, drag and drop. Drag drop I'm doing, and I'm going to add my main method here. Before that, I'll extend the launcher class, so that I'm just going to call the the base class. Okay, so this I'm going to call the launcher class. So I'll call the the method which I created there. First, I'll create the main method. Then I'll create the the method. They call the method which I created there, the launcher, right? Launcher emulator method. I'm just calling it here, and I'll add the exceptions also. Handle the exception which is here. Okay, add throws exception. Right, I'll hand the exception also. Now we have initialized the URL set capabilities and created one instance for the Android driver. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to the drag and drop class. I'm going to use touch actions. As we saw, for gestures mostly we use touch actions, for doing some actions, touch action. Before that, first I'll go to the Appium demo. Right, I'll just refresh the Appium. In the Appium inspector, I'll start the session. In the Before starting a session, I have set platform name, Appium device, Appium platform, and UID, and Appium app. This server setup. Hope you see the first two videos. You'll understand how to start the session in the Appium inspector. Okay, now I should click views, the first in the end to end. First I should click views, right? I need locator for that. With the help of Appium inspector, I'll take the XPath for the views link. Okay, so I'll copy the XPath copied. Now I'll write the code. First, driver dot find element by dot XPath. Then I'll paste the XPath for the view button. Okay, let me save it as views here. Okay, I'm going to click it. Right, first I'll click it. I'm not going to save now. I'm just going to click that particular view. Okay, after clicking the view, what will happen? We should go click the drag and drop. Okay, for that I'll take the with the help of Appium inspector, I'll locate the drag and drop and I'll take the X path for drag and drop also. Okay, now I click drag and drop, right? I'll use with the help of right 1 minute. First, I'm not taking an X path now. I'm using a resource ID and I'm just going to create one, right? One locator. Okay, it's going to be same, right? For example, 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to use this locator now. Driver dot find element by dot. I'm going to take an ID now. Okay, I'm not using XPath. I just copied the ID. I use the ID and I'm pasting it here and I'm going to click that particular right drag and drop. Okay, so first I'll click 1 minute, click it. Okay, okay. Now what I did is right. I just went and clicked the drag and drop. Okay, after clicking it we have to right inspect both the circles and we should drag from source to the destination. Okay, so now what we should do is we should locate that particular first circle and save it in the reference variable called as source. I'm using Appium inspector to copy take the X path of the first circle. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use driver dot find element by dot xpath. The last element I took an ID based. Now I'm again coming going back and taking an xpath based locator. Okay, so now I just stored in the reference called as source. Again we should inspect the designation and store it in the reference called as designation. So first circle I store it in the reference called as source, and in the second circle I'm going to drop it. So I'm just going to save it as designation. Okay, I'll take the X path of the second one and I'll save it in the reference called as designation or target. Okay, so I'll pull from source to target. I'll use touch action. I'll use touch action class and create one reference here. Touch action equal to new touch action. Hmm. Now what I'll do is I'll use the action object. I'll use the long press method which we used in the previous video. Okay, as I told you, for actions we use the text action class. First I need to what I do is I need to long press the particular source, then I should drag and drop to the designation. For that I'm using this method long press. I have to longly press the source circle, then I have to drop it, right? So now I'm using the element option class. All right, then the element, then the target. Source, sorry, source. First I'm just taking getting the source, then I'm using move to method to move to target. Element option dot element target. Then you have to what to do is we have to release and then you have to perform. Okay, now let's run the code. One minute. I didn't take for drag and drop, right? I'll take the drag and drop XPath. Let me change it to XPath instead of ID. Sorry, right? I'll change it to XPath. Okay, so now what I do is first I'll explain the code. First I'm using extending from the base class and giving the launch emulator method. Next what I'm going to do is, right, after that I'm going to click the view button, then I'm going to click the drag and drop button, then I located the source circle and I saved in the reference called as source. Then I located the target circle and saved in the reference called target. And I use touch action class to create an object. And to using the touch action class, I'm using the long press method. Then the element option dot element and move to element option to drag from source to the target. Okay, let's run the code. Let me refresh the emulator and then let me run the code. Okay, now emulator launched, view clicked, drag and drop clicked, it moved the source to the target. So it's moving the source to the target. It long press source and it moved from source to the target. Okay, so hope this video is useful to you. Thanks for watching the video. Continue to follow the series. Have a nice day. Bye.